today?
I've been joined by the lovely Amy.
Oh, hello, lovely Karen.
Yes, we're breaking in on the Hunter Biden story.
Yes.
It comes from Redacted News. I think they've got a YouTube channel, but this one was on Rumble.
Right.
I find this really crazy.
Oh, I do too.
You know, we've just had, well, a few weeks ago, we had the humiliation of Boris.
Yes.
This man that was put in charge of all this stuff around the world, going to Ukraine, all this, and then they humiliate him and strip him. But I think that means he's been promoted. You know, they have to humiliate them and then they're being promoted at the same time. So you think they're getting less, but they're getting more.
Right.
Something like that.
Yes, crazy.
And so this person that's been in charge for years, or a few years, is now humiliated in public. So imagine what they're going to do to Biden when he leaves office with this.
Oh, I know.
And then don't forget, I mean, I'm not into it all. We know it's a game, Amy, but that game, Biden, look what he did to Trump, or what he wanted to happen to Trump and all that, and he slags Trump off. And at the same time, his son's on all these charges.
Exactly.
Anyway, this little bit of video, we've just taken a little bit from this to show you that he was charged, he is guilty. And what it was is that this guy, let me just see if I can find it, Amy. Now, if you're, well, all stories are stories, some are real, they are real, but most aren't. But, you know, we're just looking at this point. So he's, say, one of us. He's had a gun, and now he's going to court in January, and he faces up to 10 years in prison for having a gun. Right? So what happened to Biden's son then, Amy? What happened to him when he had this gun and left it somewhere?
Yeah, he didn't get anything. He got a slap in the wrist.
Isn't that incredible? See, it's who you know. It's always who you know. I mean, I remember Blair doing it. His kid went to an opted-out school. So that was an opted-out school, but they weren't going to make any more, and no one else could go to them. But his son went to one. So it's always the same thing, isn't it? You can't, but we do. So imagine what they're going to throw at him when he leaves office then. To be honest, he should be indicted. To be honest.
Should be.
Yeah, I think so, because he's harboured this person. And then the other crazy bit is, Amy, and obviously Redacted News talks about it, is that's the cut. So basically, the man is guilty on all these counts. He gets a rap on the knuckles, and now look at the cuddle. Oh, darling.
Yes.
And Biden is involved, and I think this is what this hangout goes on about, because it says, breaking Hunter Biden charged with crime, corruption goes all the way to the top. So it would mean that Biden was involved somehow, even if it's him listening to his son. But imagine it. Oh, darling son, yes, I'll pay for it. And Trump, you need to go to prison. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Oh, it sure is.
It's just embarrassing.
It is. It's double standards.
It's like Peyton Place.
Yes, it
Most
is.
people won't remember what that is. Not even I really remember what it was. But Peyton Place was one of the first soapy operas, I think, sort of thing. It was.
Yeah.
It's all Peyton Place because it's all a lie. So this is the next saga. Now you're going to have to hate him and get him out.
That's right.
It's ridiculous. In real life, you would never want Trump, and you would never want Biden, you'd never want Boris, you'd never want Rishi, you'd never want Blair, you'd never want any of these people to represent you, especially when you work out later on, a bit more information comes out, and you think, how, you know, if you people had known that, they never would have voted. So these are the games they play, isn't it, Amy?
It sure is, Karen.
Don't you think, what's your thoughts on it, Amy?
Oh, I think it's just a lot more theater, and also in this country they let the Democrats get away with everything, and the Republicans, they throw the book at them. But I think it's just trying to create more division, because people will see that Hunter Biden gets away with it, gets away with the crime, and his dad will probably not have any consequence. But then Trump, that whatever he did, I don't even think it was illegal, but they're making a big deal.
And the guy says in this, would they have given Trump a cuddle like that?
Right.
But this guy's been found guilty.
Yes.
He's holding a Bible under his arm. He probably isn't, Amy. So that means that the Washington Post have made that picture up, because he's holding a great big Bible under his arm, because he isn't really, is he? So it must be a made up picture. But that's the appearance they wanted to be. Oh, he's comforted and loved. Oh, good old son.
Oh, yes.
If we did it, prison for 10 years.
Right.
It's just the hypocrisy of it all. I mean, they're the ones doing it to us. They're the ones making the stories up. They're the ones ploughing us with all this misinformation. What do they expect us to think? In the end, if you wake up, you're going to see through it and have a different opinion. It's just incredible that they are like, what's tomorrow's one going to be? And the next day, and the next day, and the next day. More and more and more of this depressing Peyton Place.
Yes, it never stops.
Ugh. I mean, like at the weekend I did this bit I told you, Amy, earlier on, where there was Oliver Reed, and then it turned into who Dick Van Dyke was. It was like, why can't you just watch something like, you just see it and you can't help it, and then you're making a video about it. But this is disgusting.
It really is.
You cannot let him off.
No.
And you know what? That's the other thing that I think is incredible. Because most of the judges at the courts are the wrong judge for that court, because that's what they seem to do in their maritime, getting onto the boat thing. The wrong judges, so you can ask, what's your authority? And it usually isn't the court that they're in. I'm not saying maybe sometimes it is, but most of the time it isn't. So that means the wrong judge saw your case and dealt with your case. So in reality, everybody that had the wrong judge can ask for another trial. It's disgusting.
It is.
It's a farce. And then, when you go to court, it's not about what you did. It's about figures and things. Symbols.
Oh, yeah.
But I just can't believe, if we're in a democracy and we believe the laws that were written down, that you would allow him to get away with it all.
Oh, I know.
In fact, because he was the president's son, he should have a stiffer sentence. Because if anybody is going to have any protocol to what it all means, you're letting like a gangster. He's a gangster, basically.
Right.
And you're allowing that and allowing him to get off.
Exactly.
Well, that's my thoughts anyway. But it's all hypocrisy. The whole lot is a joke. We should be laughing at it, really. Even the fake picture.
Yes.
Because he wouldn't be walking around with the Bible, but that's for his conscience, maybe.
Right.
Anything else you want to say, Amy?
Oh, I think that's all.
It's hypocrisy, Amy. Hypocrisy.
It's terrible hypocrisy. It really is.
It really is, though, Amy. It's disgusting. Because it's always they can, you can't.
Oh, yes.
Always.
Where it's always that way.
And say this picture is real and someone stuffed the Bible under his arm. Why would you want that in public at all?
Trying to appeal to people, make them think that he's repented, that he's sorry for what he did, or
if
something
he's doing
like
that, imagine what his dad did.
Oh,
if he managed to do all that, imagine what Biden's done.
Oh, I know.
Well, the character Biden.
Yes, exactly.
Because, when he was younger, he quite looked like Prince Philip.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't look like the same man today. I know he's older,
well,
but
he isn't, is he? He's another... Because you see, you know when I said that news read, went in, they filmed him for 10 minutes, and then that was his career. He didn't even have to turn up and do anything, because they just get his voice, they know his voice, and someone else speaks it, but it comes out as him. And it's him moving around, but it wasn't. It's obviously a lot cheaper to have a composite version of him and someone else do the CGI, and you won't even notice it. But that's the career. So what it is I suppose after a while those videos then become out of date and they have to do new ones, but the person might have drastically changed because they kept that video going for 10 years or something. 5-10 years. And really we can change quite a lot in a few years sometimes. Oh, it's all crazy. I actually saw someone the other day saying that John Travolta had all this plastic surgery and had all this to make himself feel better, did this with his brain. I'm thinking, you say all that and all he is another joke. He's another one. They're all the same.
Yeah.
They're all somebody else.
Right.
Anyway, it is... Miriam put Hollywood, and that's what it is. It's a bunch of Hollywood.
It is. It's Hollywood.
What don't the people see?
Yeah, they just don't get it.
No. Anyway, let's watch the few minutes when he's saying that his son has been charged.
Yeah, and also our interview, we're going to touch on a lot of really, really delicate subjects with Tim Ballard as it relates to child trafficking, and YouTube loves to flag those videos as well. So in an age of free speech, this is what we have to deal with in the United States of America. Isn't it crazy? Like this
being anti-trafficking is not good on this platform.
Unbelievable. Okay. All right, let's get to your big story this morning, this afternoon, this evening, wherever you're joining us from, which is Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden, of course, after 5 years of being investigated by the IRS and prosecutors, has been charged with federal crimes. This was the front page of the Washington Post. Just look at this. Just take a look at this, how the media does this in Washington. Here's the Washington Post. Look at that picture. Do you think that they would do that with Trump? But I'm just asking, would they have a big like love fest picture, like him hugging Melania and like Donald Trump?
It looks like he's carrying a giant Bible. Is he carrying a giant Bible?
He is.
I didn't even see that. Oh my God, my giant Bible for Inauguration Day. And here's a big kiss, Hunter. Hunter Biden reaches deal to plead guilty in tax and gun case. That's the Washington Post. I mean, you want to know what kind of a clown world we live in. Just look at the framing of that. Unbelievable. So weeks after the Justice Department removes IRS agents from investigating Hunter Biden, yet no explanation on that, by the way. Why were these guys removed from the Hunter Biden IRS investigation? For felony tax evasion, he gets hit with a misdemeanor. Miranda Devine, of course, who's been, Marina Medvin, excuse me, got my names mixed up, says Hunter Biden has been criminally charged. Hunter's lawyers got a plea deal worked out in advance. This smells fishy, like a throwaway to make it look like even-handed justice. Of course, there's a lot more to Hunter's conduct than this case. And it should be noted, just a frame of reference, right? He gets off with a misdemeanor for having a firearm, lying on a federal background check form, which is a felony, carries up to 10 years in prison. Lil Wayne, rapper Lil Wayne, I call him Little because we go way back, but his friends call, people who don't know him as well as I know him call him Lil. Lil Wayne pleads guilty to federal gun charges. The rapper will be sentenced in January and faces up to 10 years in prison. Just a frame of reference for the exact same crime.